Well, if you're looking for carnage, you came to the right review, buddy. Let's review Rambo from 2008.
Copy, you're calling Raven.
Payback time.
Come with me if you want to live.
You just don't turn it off!
Rambo was released in 2008, written and directed by Sylvester Stallone, and starring Sylvester Stallone, Julie Benz, and Graham McTavish. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema, and welcome to my review of Rambo 2008. We're going to smash these freaking Rambo reviews out, give a ranking to this month. So stick around and all that kind of jazz. So if you like Rambo, you like Stallone, I'm dishing out a lot of Stallone content this month, as you guys all know. So make sure you follow me on Instagram. Comment down below. Tell me what you think of Rambo from 2008. We'll have a healthy discussion in the comment sections. Slap a like on this video too, as it helps the channel out a lot. Now, there are two cuts to this film, and I have seen both, the theatrical cut and the extended cut, or the director's cut, I guess. I am leaning more towards the director's cut on this one. I think it is more dramatic with the dialogue. Like, some of the dialogue's a little different. Hopefully I can clarify those points as we move along here. But yeah, I think I like the director's cut a little more. And when I first saw this movie, I saw it like twice in the theater when it first came out, opening day and all that. And I was actually a little underwhelmed by this movie. I like the brutality, the viciousness. I like how he brought it back to a more gritty Rambo, like from First Blood. But there was something about him being on this team and stuff like that. I get it. He's an old man. I don't know. It didn't work for me the first time out for this movie. I don't know what was wrong with me. But this was one of those movies when I watched it again and watched it again and watched it again, I absolutely loved it. And it's become one of my favorite Rambo movies, man. You like the blood-soaked carnage, the gritty Rambo, you're just going to fall in love with this movie, man. And the opening of the film is quite a statement. The opening of this film, they show what's really going on in Burma and real life. Stallone's intercutting all this real footage, CNN footage, whatever have you, news footage of what's going on in this country, the genocide and everything. It really sets the tone for this movie. And when he transitions from real footage into the movie, it really works with this infantry, these Burmese infantry guys playing this sick game of throwing mines everywhere and seeing people run into the mines and they just explode. You're just like, damn, we need a hero. We need Rambo to take care of some shit. You know what I mean? But that opening really sells everything, sets our tone up, and then we get this really consistent tone through this movie. Our story's a simple one, like a lot with these Rambo films. We get these Christian aid workers bringing, food, bringing Bibles, bringing medicine to all the sick and everything like that, to the innocent people of this country, because it's kind of like a civil war, you know what I mean? Genocide, civil war, that, it's just not being handled by anybody, you know what I mean? So, and people just know not to go in there. And it's very noble what these Christians are doing. I bet they're a little naive. They're a little arrogant. Rambo warns them, are you bringing any weapons? No. Then you ain't changing a fucking thing. You know what I mean? Noble thing, noble stuff. The message Stallone is going for is that, we'll cling to our own survival. When we're pushed, it doesn't matter what we believe with our morals and everything. We are going to cling on to our own survival. We are going to fight for our own life if it comes to that. You know what I mean? We're like, at the end of the day, we got a killer animal instinct in all of us. And I do like how he does navigate through that. I think his direction is really good here. I just love the style and approach he brought to this film. And another thing you get with this story is, he gets there's a team, a bunch of mercenaries who are hired to go and find these Christian workers when they get kidnapped and stuff like that. And Rambo joins them, and they're just a badass crew. I think there's some cool fun to be had with them and all that. I don't feel like they're too over the top. You know what I mean? I think Stallone really brings them down, and also a little precursor foreshadowing the Expendables, but with all these great 80s action stars. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of foreshadowing there with his next project with the Expendables. And I love the way Stallone characterized Rambo in this. Rambo is very cynical in this, very negative. He's like, fuck the world. I want to be left alone. And his physique too, he's like a mountain man, right? He's got these really big shoulders. He looks taller than he really is. Looks bigger than he really is. He's pretty jacked in this, man, but he's been beaten down for so long that he doesn't trust people, doesn't trust anything. He's just lost too much, right? And when these Christian aid workers, there's a girl named Sarah who convinces him to take them into Burma. You know what I mean? He just finds that, this is who he is. He's a soldier. Whenever someone's in danger and help, he has to be there. And he convinces the mercenaries too, this is what we do. We may not like it. We don't want to be here, but this is what we do.
But this is what we do. Who we are.
But just the way Stallone and, just the way he plays Rambo again is very reminiscent of First Blood. He's pretty much quiet through the whole thing, just staring, gawking, he's just got that death stare. You don't know what he's going to do because he's very mute. He's very quiet. Sure, he does talk in this a lot more than he did in First Blood, but it's just that he's got that stare, the way he meanders and walks and, looks around and always engaged with his environment. From a character point of view and, a character arc point of view, this is kind of what Rambo 3 should have been. Coming full circle, knowing what you are. We didn't make you this fighting machine. We just chipped away the rough edges. All that kind of stuff is he follows that arc, and we'll talk about the ending near the end of the review of him coming home. And Rambo is badass in this, man. He's just spilling people's guts. He's ripping throats out. I mean, he picks up this one guy, rips his throat out. One of my favorite scenes in a movie, and it's just badass. And we get a lot of good supporting characters too, like all the mercenaries I really liked, especially Craig McTavish. He's the real arrogant the man. He's a ex-British SAS guy. He doesn't want to take any more risks than he really has to. And, he doesn't know nothing about Rambo. He just calls Rambo the boatman. He's the boatman. He stays on the fucking boat like this. But he is a great character in this, man. And when they're all getting tortured at the end of this, they're all ready to get executed. His leg's already been half blown off, this character, right? And he's just egging the villain on, you know what I mean? He goes, "Why don't you have a go at me, you gutless pig?" Like this. I felt, I didn't like him too much at the beginning, but loved him by the end of the movie. I thought he was fantastic, man. Now, the villain's not overly memorable, you know what I mean? But whenever time you watch it, you're going, man, this guy is sick. This guy, he does vile things. The way he treats people like they're just ants to him. You know what I mean? Just things. And the way his army and everything treats women. And there's some vile stuff in this, guys. Awful stuff, how they're treating human beings in this movie. So it's more like the actions he does that makes him a great villain. It's not so much the one-liner he's saying or the way he's walking. He's a gutless coward, really. He's all about using fear as his weapon. You come and join this army, you do what I say, or I'm going to gut you and gut your whole family. That kind of villain. And Rambo does him in at the end, man, where he spills his guts with a big knife and slices his guts open. A little bit of CGI there I do not like. But man, when you're despising villains, this is the way you want to see them go out. Or am I just like, just not right in the head? And the action, guys. This is an action movie at the end of the day, and it has plenty of it. Absolute carnage in this movie. Sylvester Stallone just showing you the real brutality, viciousness of war. What it really looks like. This is the closest I want to be to a war, man. When he gets on that big freaking gun, he starts mowing people down. Man, bodies just being cut in half and all that kind of stuff. Just brutal. But when the village gets attacked near the beginning and all the Christian workers are there and they get a taste of what these people go through every day, it's brutal. And I love the way Stallone slows it all down in slow motion. This is where he's really learned as a director and uses the music to tell the story. Plays out so dramatically because when he slows everything down, lets the music take over, it really lets you soak everything in. The horrors of war and everything, kids being freaking killed, the village gets set on fire, just awful stuff happening here. But it's so emotional at the same time, right? And seeing how the mercenaries and Rambo go in there in the middle of the night where the army's partying and all that kind of stuff, and they rescue these Christian workers, at least some of them, and just how silent they are, how good they are at this. This is their job. This is what they do. It's badass. You get some sniper kills, you get some, knife play, you know what I mean? And it's just it is crazy, really reminiscent of Rambo 2 actually, but not with that real cartoony kind of look and not with that, over the top 80s cheese to it. This is real grounded version of that. You know what I mean? If this tone is what Rambo 2 had, holy shit, man. That would have been something. That would have been something. And I really can't decide what Stallone's best directed movie is between Rocky Balboa or this. Like, I really think it's a toss up. Probably Rocky Balboa is probably a better directed film, but I gotta say, this is one of his best directed films. The way he puts the camera, the way he utilizes it, the shaky cam when it needs to be. I've already talked about how he slows some shots down. I just like the whole look of the film. It really draws you in. The whole look of the film's very raw and gritty. And, I'm not comparing it to, it's not Saving Private Ryan. You know what I mean? He's not Steven Spielberg, but man, he made a really good action war film that was serious and consistent with the tone. It's definitely his vision. You can really see that. And it's the art of a good director. And I think he really directed his ass off on this one. And the music, I absolutely love the music by Brian Tyler here, how he honors Jerry Goldsmith so well with that original score, but adds a little bit of his own motifs in it. Like I keep saying, that one scene where they're getting attacked, it slows down, then you hear that bow, 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 bow. It's got such a beautiful melody to it. And when the drums start going crazy, when the action kicks up, a lot of drumming and stuff like that. But man, the main melody to this movie really honored Jerry Goldsmith and really put his own stamp on it. Just fantastic music. And I love the ending to this film while we come literally full circle. Where in First Blood, we see Rambo coming into his buddy's home, like down the path, the countryside. In this movie, we see Rambo going home, walking down. You know what I mean? Walking down, but we see it from a different angle. He's walking home now. And he goes home to his, where he grew up in Arizona on this old farm. You know what I mean? Working horses and stuff like that. Just absolutely fantastic. The way they make this whole thing roundabout. Now, as far as the two cuts, the extended cut, the director's cut, there's some camera angles that are a little different. I like how he added some dialogue. There's a few scenes that changed it up. More so, it's more extended when they're trying to get Rambo to take them into Burma. But I do like one part where he's arguing with Sarah. You know what I mean? You're trying to change what is. The dialogue really shows what he's feeling. And I just love when he says, it's war. Old men start it, young men fight it, and everybody dies in between. I thought that was a great line. I don't know why he cut that from the theatrical cut, because you got a more insight to what's going on with Rambo. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of differences between both cuts. Obviously, I think the director's cut's a little more brutal too, but there's just added dialogue that's a little better. The only thing about the director's cut I wasn't really fond of is they make it look like Rambo and Sarah are having a romance and that like he's actually going to win her at the end. And I'm going, no, we didn't need any of that. He just admires her, how much she has no weapons and how much good she's trying to do in the world. What she's trying to do is a good thing. And Rambo is just moved by that. He understands that. He wants that kind of, he wants a crusade. You know what I mean? He needs something to keep him going. And he gets reminded of that through her. And, he gets reminded that he is a soldier. He may have lost his faith in people. He may have lost his faith in being a soldier, war, all that. But it's what he does. It's who he is. And that's not wasting your life when you get to save a life. You're not going to change what's going on there. Like the movie's not saying this is going to change everything. You know what I mean? Because Rambo goes in there and all that. No, it's not going to change that. But you saved someone. You got people home. You saved people who could go on to do something, and it's you sacrificed yourself, or you put yourself into a situation where you got to save somebody. And I really like that. I really like that, and how Rambo comes home at the end. But really, there's two different cuts. They're all saying the same thing. There's just a little bit added dialogue I liked a lot more, and the way he draws out the emotions a little bit more. So, like he draws the dialogue out a little more, so you feel the drama a little bit more. That for me anyway, that's how I see it. So that is Rambo, guys, from 2008. Really dig this movie. Really like it a lot. I recommend that you all go see Rambo from 2008. If you haven't already, if you're following me, you've likely seen all these movies. I'm going to give Rambo from 2008 a solid B. But what about you guys? Let me know in the comments what you think of Rambo from 2008. We'll have a healthy discussion in those comments, talking Stallone. And also let me know what you think of this review and all that jazz. Please like, subscribe, share the content around. Really helps me out a lot. Right below you, right there, you can click on your next video to go down the rabbit hole to check out my channel. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. I will see you next time, and I will see you in the movies. Cheers.